In the span of 4 days, Donald Trump has threatened to start a war with Europe by invading Greenland, defended the ICE shooting in Minneapolis by saying an unarmed woman was disrespectful to law enforcement, opened a sham investigation into Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell because Powell won't do what he says, called himself the acting president of Venezuela, and broke the Guinness World Record for largest shoulder pads ever worn by a president. What is going on here, man? Seriously, where did you buy that? Gru's Warehouse? For more on this, it's time for a closer look. You guys, we're under a constant barrage of horrible news. It's impossible to look at your phone for even 5 minutes without alternating between rage and despair, and there's seemingly no end in sight, which is why I have made an important decision. I have decided to get a Labubu. His name is Cherry Blossom. He's from the small Belgian village of Oosterberken. He loves skiing, cuddling, and leaving silly little notes around the house. And oh, look at this. Here's a note right here. It says, "Holy CNN says Trump might invade Greenland." Cherry Blossom! I told you to turn off your news alerts. And by the way, I don't think I'm the only one suffering from burnout, or at the very least, some seasonal ennui. During a meeting with oil execs on Friday, the president seemed a little overstimulated and decided he needed some quiet time in the cozy corner.
We have many others that were not able to get in. I said if we had a ballroom, we'd have over 1,000 people. Everybody wanted. I never knew your industry was that big. I never knew you had that many people in your industry. But here we are. And if you look, come to think of it, well, I got to look at this myself. Wow. What a view. This is the door to the ballroom. What did you... Unusual time to look.
What was everyone else doing when this happened? The most powerful man in the world stops in the middle of a meeting to stare out the window, and no one there thinks to himself, should we call a nurse? What we just saw was like if in mid-interview I did this. So you have a new movie coming out, and... this city. Would you look at that? So your movie? The point of this meeting was to discuss the illegal seizure of Venezuela's oil, but he seemed to lose track of what he was supposed to be doing because at some point, his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, passed him a note telling him what to do, and we only know about it because Trump read the note out loud.
You're all going to do very well. I think really very well. Marco just gave me a note. Go back to Chevron. They want to discuss something. Go ahead. I'm going back to Chevron. Marco. Thank you, Marco.
Was there a question, Mr. President?
Yes, go ahead, Marco. What are you saying here?
I mean, first of all, how cute. Trump got a note from his Labubu, Marco Rabububio. Marco Rububio. Second, it doesn't inspire much confidence that the president got a private note from his Secretary of State, and his first instinct was to immediately read it out loud in front of TV cameras. At least George W. Bush had the wherewithal to keep reading the pet goat. If Trump had been in that situation, he would have immediately blurted out, "Everyone run for your lives!" Trump is so bad with discretion, I wouldn't be surprised if Melania whispered in his ear at a dinner party, and then he announced, "Well, we're gonna get going. Melania has the..." That's what you told me. And while Trump was hatching his scheme to steal Venezuela's oil, he also threw in a mob-style threat toward Greenland, which is currently under the thumb of one of our most vicious foes, Denmark.
We are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not. I would like to make a deal, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way.
First of all, we're talking about a remote island in the Arctic, not a waste management company in New Jersey. I can't even make a joke about Trump being a mobster because even mobsters don't talk like that. They wouldn't just say Greenland, they'd use coded language. A friend up north, the one that looks like a golf course? What are you talking about? Here, let me write it down. There you go. Take a look. Greenland? Oh, don't read the note out loud. Who am I supposed to read it, Vinny? In your head. Now, Trump is threatening a military invasion. I've really used this prop a lot of times. So now Trump is threatening a military invasion of Greenland and a war with Europe. And it's not like things are any calmer on the home front. Over the weekend, there were sweeping protests against ICE and the Trump administration across the country. You might think it's because large numbers of Americans say they disapprove of both Trump and the conduct of ICE, but the president knows what's really going on. It's all a conspiracy.
I think, frankly, they're professional agitators.
But just disrespect.
And I'd like to find out, and we are going to find out, who's paying for it.
But just disrespect.
With their brand new signs and all the different things.
Well, my man, one of the reasons the signs are new is because the outrages are new. Like, no one has an old sign lying around that says, keep your mitts off Greenland. Also, I love that in the middle of the AI boom where anything is possible, this dude's like, no one can make a sign that fast. In an effort to smoke out these shadowy far-left conspirators, Fox News host Sean Hannity sent a reporter into the streets of Minneapolis to interview protesters live on his show, but it didn't go the way Hannity expected.
Let me ask you, have you spoken to any people, or can you speak to anybody that's marching right now and ask them what it is that they're marching about?
Yeah. Excuse me. Can you tell us, what are you here marching for?
Yeah, I'm just here because I think it's absolutely disgusting what ICE is doing here. I think it's absolutely abhorrent that they're kidnapping people. I'm disgusted that they murdered an innocent human being. And yeah, the entire thing just absolutely abhors me. This has to stop immediately.
And I'm sorry, but how dare you go on Fox News and state such a normal, reasonable opinion? If you keep this up, the president is going to be so sad he'll walk over to the window and never come back. And then who would post psychotic rants on Truth Social besides, everyone else on Truth Social? But don't forget, this man is a paid left-wing agitator. He's part of a shadowy, far-left conspiracy. He must also be carrying a dangerous weapon.
And what's your instrument of choice?
Instrument of choice? I just found a bell in a bag. Someone was handing out free stuff, so there we go.
Oh my God, he's got a bell! Quick, cover your ears. If he rings it 3 times, you have no choice but to sit down for dinner. Well, that should tell you everything you need to know about the situation. One side is showing up with guns, and the other side is showing up with bells. And not just any bells, tiny bells. I mean, what dangerous weapons are these paid agitators going to brandish next? A quilt and a ball of yarn? Now, compare how reasonable and normal these protesters sound to how mindless and broken the administration sounds, specifically when asked about the double standard between their response to ICE protesters and the way they treat law enforcement.
I want to show some video to you right now and ask, what is the appropriate response for the police officers in this situation? Those are law enforcement officers being physically attacked. By this standard, would any of those officers be justified in shooting and killing the people causing them physical harm?
Every single situation is going to rely on the situation those officers are on.
President Trump pardoned every single one of those people.
And every single one of these investigations comes in the full context of the situation on the ground.
I just showed you video of people attacking law enforcement officers. There's a different standard for law enforcement officials being attacked if they're being attacked by Trump supporters. We just saw that.
This individual and these instances and these investigations all have to be taken and done correctly in context of every situation that is happening on the ground.
I don't think I've ever seen a government official short circuit like that. It's like if you asked an Amazon Echo to answer an impossible math question after dropping it in the toilet. Alexa, what's 0 times infinity?
0 times infinity is infinity multiplied by 0, which is 0 infinity 0 infinity 0 infinity. All math problems must be done and done correctly in the situation of the context of the situation of the context of the
You know what? Just
situation
forget it. But seriously, check out the blank look in her eyes. There's nothing there. Those eyes are so empty and vacant. Trump's gonna stand up in the middle of the meeting and look through them. What a beautiful view, wow. The Trump administration is behaving as though they govern not a democracy, but an empire. They think they can annex any territory they want and occupy any American city they want, but polls show that most Americans strongly disapprove, and eventually Trump officials will have to face that reality.
Whether they like it or not.
This has been A Closer Look.